invented in India. So there was a king who had a very long fight. Earlier, these wars had between the kings lasted for months and at times years. So there was a king who had this long war, lost his son, and was completely sad for months. He resorted himself to his own palace. So his wazir, his name was Sesa bin Dahir. That was the name. So what he did, he gifted this game of chessboard to his king. He liked it. He loved playing it, and then as a reward, he wanted to gift something to his wazir. So he asked what should I gift you? So he said that give me a grain of rice for the first block, double it in the second block, and keep doubling it until you get to the last block. That's what he asked for. The king laughed, agreed. Okay, we'll go for it. Uh, and then, so before I come to the answer, what exactly did he ask for? So if I were to ask you, and not the mathematical answer, I know all of you are mathematic experts. Most of you are from WFM team and all. I want an intuitive answer. So what do you think? So what would be the amount, the grain of rice amount to? Would it be cart loads, truck loads, or maybe worth a city? So what would it be? Few comments, quick comments. An intuitive answer. I do not want mathematical answers.
Entire production of city.
Good. Sumit, city, right? Good intuitive answer. Anyone else? What comes to your mind? कि कितना महंगा होगा?
Everything that could have been grown within that land, I think.
The name lazy.
Sufficient amount to feed the entire city.
Great. Thanks, Amar. So good answer. So actually, what he asked for was 10 into 2 to the power 19, which is equivalent to Earth's mass. That's what he asked for. So what this tells us is our mind is basically, we as humans are designed to think in a linear way. दो का चार, चार का आठ, 10 का 16, and all that. We are not used to exponential calculation. And the evolution of digital technology has been exponential. You must have heard the word exponential a lot, but this is what the exponential means. So just doubling the amount of grains would lead to a total biomass of Earth. That's what he asked for, and I'm sure he would have got fired. So now these three laws, which drive or which fuel this immense growth of technology, are these three laws: Moore's law, Butter's law, and Kreider's law. Don't need to go through all of this. What I intend to say is the computing power of computers and the way data flow between the systems and data storage. All of these have been doubling every few months, every 18 months, every 9 months, every 13 months is what they have defined. And they defined it long back. And these technologies have been evolving at this pace, leading to the crazy amount of technology enabled devices we have, technology enabled businesses we have are around. If I think of my childhood, and I'm sure your childhood, very few of our friends had a mobile phone while we were growing up, right? uh, very few of us had televisions in our homes while we were in our early school. And look at how we have grown in the uh, last few years, and how technology is changing our lives. Technology is everywhere, and it has changed the way we spend our 24 hours. We shop online. Meeting something on these lines virtually was kind of in fiction stories, that you could meet someone using a device. It's more of fiction. So what I intend to say, that technology has been growing, what we heard in that story, exponentially, at an at a rate which human mind is not capable of understanding. It's everywhere, and it's changing the way we live our lives and businesses perform. I'll wait for your comments before we move forward. And as you can see, I put few pictures for your reference, and all of you are aware. I've just put it in one slide so that we can relate to it. We have smartphones. We can make calls from our smartphones, and we have seen some of these stuff long back, some 20-25 years back, in James Bond movies, and it's accessible to everyone today. So the price of technology is depleting like anything, and the power of technology is increasing like anything at exponential rate. And this helps us understand the amount of technology growth that we see on a daily basis, and how our lives and our businesses are changing. I'll take a pause, wait for your comments, and then we'll move forward. Any comments, anyone? Do you agree to what I shared?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, we have seen examples of Nokia, and it has vanished. BlackBerry, it has vanished. They did not come up with the new ideas, or what is going on, or what is going to come in the future. So they are out. Likewise, on the same way, every one of us should think of at least 5 years ahead. What should be our plan?
Agreed, Somvir. Yes, keeping up with pace is important for an individual and business as well, right? Any more comments, anyone?
One more thing is, if you get comfortable with what you have today, you will not have it tomorrow. It's a very important thing. One should never get comfortable. Moment you start getting comfortable with whatever you're doing today, that should raise an alarm immediately. If you're not getting challenged enough, if you do not have problems to solve for, right? Uh, it is absolutely important to introspect that very moment, that it is very unusual not to have a problem, right? So therefore you will stop evolving anymore, and that's where in our careers, and how do I correlate it to digital transformation in our career, in our fields, this is a natural progression which is going to happen, wherein from our respective fields, this is where we would tend to go, unless someone wants to change the field entirely. This is a very natural progression that can happen.
Right, agreed, Pampush. Relevance is the key, and you become relevant by adopting to the new means of how things are being done, be it an individual or be it a business. Any more comments? Okay, I'll be taking out names for more comments going forward. Okay, moving ahead. So now that we have understand how technology has been evolving, at the rate which technology has been evolving, and the way it has been changing our lives, and the way businesses are being done. Now let's understand that the businesses around us, they have a pressing need, and these needs can be anything ranging from improving CSAT, decreasing cost, uh, or a new competitor which has come up in space, or it can be a new regulation, government regulation, which they have to cope up with, or change of an operating model, or we can pick few comments from here: intense market competition, or standardization of processes. So businesses, clients, processes, accounts to which we as professionals cater to, they have these pressing needs, and to address any of them and each of them, when we want to address them, technology is what we have to rely to. We reach out to technology, we pick one of the technologies to address these issues that we face. If you want to reduce cost to serve, if you want to reduce the cost, you'll have to deploy technology, because technology will make that the effort faster. If you want to do some post acquisition integration between the two systems, let's say Flipkart acquired Jabong, so Jabong would be using a set of their own infrastructure and Flipkart would be using their own. So the moment they acquire it, if you have to make one unified organization, you'll have to integrate those systems. That's where you have to reach out to technology. If you want to do optimization of multiple systems, you'll have to do automations, you'll have to deploy digital tools, and then we'll talk about those are tools as well. But the moment you want to bring a significant change, you depend on technology, you rely to technology. And the moment you bring a change in the system or the way you operate, the way you perform business, is about transformation. Digital and transformation, these are two words, right? So transformations mean bringing a change to our lives, to the way we perform business, and digital is leveraging technology to bring that change. So while I read a lot of blogs, I read news, and I was referring to one today, and I'll be sharing my screen. So a key observation that I have made: the corporations, the businesses, the clients that we know of, they are either doing digital transformation for others or they are undergoing one. Every company at this point in time, they are either offering digital transformation as a service, कि boss come to me, मैं आपके लिए digital transformation करता हूँ, or that company is itself going through digital transformation. No company, no organization under this sun is untouched at this point in time from digital transformation. And hence, it is extremely important that everyone on this planet who is a professional should be aware of this as a subject. Let me share my screen. So this is Economic Times. I'll just read it out for you. 26th August, IIM Ahmedabad and Bank of America partnered to set up a digital transformation. Infosys to set up digital development center in Canada, 25th August. Reinvent the audit space. Cognizant expand digital engineering capabilities with Hunter Technical Resources acquisition. HCL signs a 5-year deal with German chemical firm. So the web is basically bombarded with such kind of news. What it tells us, that every organization at this point in time is boss either doing digital transformation or they're undergoing one. So I'll wait for your comments, reactions, and then we'll move forward.
I think one reaction is people often confuse and they get nervous that a digital transformation can lead to job losses, okay, or it can make their roles redundant, right? Now, one thing we need to understand is automation and optimization and these kind of digital or non-digital transformation have been happening since Stone Ages, right? And in Stone Ages, we had much lesser population. Therefore, by that virtue, most of us should have been jobless today, but still we have jobs. The reason is when you use a digital transformation device, for example, a washing machine, while you had employed a maid, even for creating that washing machine, you need people, right? So your jobs are also transformed, your roles are also transformed. It's not that all of a sudden one fine day, because people, where human is, he's designed to evolve his brain, he's designed to evolve his actions, right? So today, if the opportunity is to change your role from whatever you're doing today to something more lucrative, something more futuristic, is how we should look at it. Again, coming back to the same thing, if you get stand still in the time that this is what I know and this is all I can do, you'll stop evolving and you'll perish. Nokia somewhere is a prime example that you took. They stopped thinking of the change, and that's how they perish. And there are so many other companies, right, which have perished from the market, and new companies have taken over, and they're doing really well. So, digital transformation is not loss of job, loss of skill. It is pushing you to evolve yourself into something new, which is more relevant and which will make you relevant for the future skill perspective. So that is very important. Objective to understand why companies are running after it.
Yeah, Vampush. So more comments. reactions, or let me put it this way: what is one thing that we have understood so far? And we have gone through the first section of our, which is why is it important to be part of digital wave. We have covered it, and I want more comments of what we have understood, and I'll be taking names if I hope that's okay for with everyone. How do I see? Okay. So Aman, that you have understood. Next is Ashish. One thing that you have understood.
Hi Ritesh. What I have understood from this session of the first session is that digital transformation is actually helping the organizations, to keep up with the emerging uh, uh, situation, and therefore it is helping us or helping the company to survive for the future, and it is also allowing the individuals or the companies to compete better in an economic environment. So this digital transformation is becoming necessary for everyone to learn.
Correct. And, uh,
Yeah, hi Ritesh. Aman, I'm sorry, I was on mute.
no worries, Aman. Just 1 second. So, Ashish, I like the last part when you said it's three. Yeah, I agree. Aman, please go ahead.
Thank you, Ritesh.
That's rightly said, Ritesh. I think so. That's one of the most important aspect, nowadays, because as you know, the world is changing, and even especially like I would say like pre and post pandemic, I think the lives has changed. Our thinkings have changed, and even there is a lot of change that's been happening against. I would say like around in technologies. So if I give a very small example, we have never imagined, our kids will be, started learning from home, and all those educations will be digital nowadays, right? So it's very important nowadays, to adjust ourselves with this new technology to meeting, the customer experience, and to cope up with all those market requirements and all those challenges that we have with the competition that we have with the other industries. So in case if we are not changing ourselves with this technology, that's very difficult for us to survive.
Thank you, Aman. So I
Right,
like
Ritesh.
a couple of points. I'll from what you said. आज की डेट में मेरा बच्चा घर से पढ़ रहा है. अब सोचो अगर हमको अगर बोला जाता, if you would have been said कि हम लोग क्लास स्कूल से कर पाएंगे at by the time I was in school at least.
Yeah,
In 2000 I was in 10th. So imagine, मतलब वो तो मुझे बिल्कुल फिल्मी लगता कि यार मैं
absolutely.
घर से क्लास कर रहा हूँ. And this next thing you said, adjusting to the technology. You're absolutely right. So as we discussed in the first slide, that technology is evolving at a exponential rate even while we are doing this session, and hence we have to evolve. We have to keep up to the speed, else we as an organization will not stay relevant, and we as individuals will not stay relevant. Okay.
True. Yeah.
And just to add, Ritesh,
Mhm.
why we are moving to digital transformation is because the kind of data what you talked initially, the kind of data what we are storing, or we have that available today from all the resources, that make us think more, like think exponentially what you just said. Because we have that data available, we can predict things little better than what we used to earlier.
Much
So
much
that,
better. Much
yes,
better.
so that is another reason why people have started thinking and focusing on uh, digital transformation, from into the transformation digitally. They are coming because we have that data or technology available now, or we are eh, just getting into that phase where we can get those technologies and help us out to evolve.
Right, Somvir, and I'll pick from what you said, prediction based on data. So that has gone way far than we can think of, and I'll just take a quick example of recommendations that we get while we are shopping on Amazon or any other website. You get recommendations, right? Those are based on AI, artificial intelligence.
True.
सिस्टम इस पे रिकमेंडिंग कि बॉस आप ये खरीद रहे हो, आपको ये भी खरीदना चाहिए. Imagine a system suggesting you what to buy. That's the length we have gone to. And that's how far we have gone.
Agree.
Okay, so moving on to next section, which is digital transformation. In this section, we'll understand what is digital transformation and how is it different from business transformation. You all of you must have heard these terms interchangeably. People use कि digital transformation किसी में कहीं पे किसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में टीम का नाम है बिजनेस ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन, कहीं पे डिजिटल ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन, कहीं पे दोनों ही टीम्स हैं एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के अंदर. सो लेट्स ट्राई एंड अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट आर दीस टू टीम्स एंड हाउ आर दे डिफरेंट, एंड देन further deep dive what are the types of business transformation that are being carried out, and then we'll look at some few successful example. But before I go to that section, I would just want to rephrase what I shared in the earlier section, which is, boss, the company that you're working for or the company that you want to work for is either going through digital transformation or they're providing digital transformation as a service. It's that huge. Every company in this under the sun is either going through digital transformation or providing service, and hence it is everywhere around you. Okay, now starting off with digital transformation. So what is digital transformation? We've already covered, and all of most of you on the call understand what is digital transformation. But I'll just keep a simple. I've kept a very simple definition, and what I shared earlier as well. It's transforming the way you perform your business using the technology. You use technology to change your operating model, and I'm sure you must have heard this word operating model a lot. So what is operating model? Operating model is the end-to-end model, the end-to-end diagram of how a business is performed. That's what operating model is. I'll use a layman term, SOP, standard operating procedure. Even that's an operating model, step by step, end to end. So end to end, the moment a customer calls you for business, hello, mujhe ek phone chahiye, that's where that journey has started till the time he makes a payment and he rates you. So everything, that's the customer journey mapping, right? That's what CJM, customer journey mapping, is all about. So the way it operates is called an operating model. So changing the way a customer interacts with us, changing the way the customer is provided service, and changing the way customer pays us for that service is called business transformation. And why business transformation and why not digital transformation, we'll talk about it. But that's what transformation, let's talk transformation. That's what transformation is all about. So business transformation is changing the way you operate, leveraging the technology. टेक्नोलॉजी का इस्तेमाल करो और चेंज करो अपने बिजनेसेस को. ओके, so business transformation, let's talk about business transformation and digital transformation both at one go. So business transformation is the umbrella. You change the overall model. For example, bank is a classic example. So earlier we had to visit bank even to withdraw money and submit money. Today, I don't know when was the last time we visited our bank. जाने की जरूरत ही नहीं पड़ती है. So they have changed their operating model. आज वहां जाने की जरूरत, whatever you need, either it's on phone, it's on web, it's on, you have those application, bank application. So everything can be done digitally. So they have changed operating model. Now this is what business transformation is called. You completely change the way you operate. पूरा का पूरा operating model change कर देना is called business transformation. Digital transformation is a sub part of business transformation, and we'll look at it in the subsequent slides. And an interesting concept. So basically, whenever the word transformation comes, so doing a small project with 2 FT worth of benefit, एक automation लगाया, एक bot लगाया और 2 FT का benefit is not transformation. Transformation is about bringing bold shifts, bringing massive shifts, changing customer satisfaction from 52% to 85%, 52 to 55 or 60% is not transformation. It's an initiative. It's a project that you're doing. And people confuse with these projects with transformation. And hence, I wanted to take this opportunity to clarify some of these basic concepts so that it's well ingrained in your thoughts and in your thought process, so that whenever you start preparing for digital transformation, you understand the concept. What else I would like to cover? So I've talked about digital transformation. I've talked about business transformation as well. I'll talk about the types of business transformation that we have. So we have operational and process transformation. Now this part is basically your digital transformation. Whenever you pick a process, pick an account, pick an organization, and automate certain sections of it is termed as digital transformation. You are automating some of the part. You are deploying a tool in certain section of that overall organization, overall process, overall account. Now that is your digital transformation. However, core transformation or business transformation is changing the very essence of the way you operate, is called core transformation or business transformation. Netflix is an excellent example. I'm not sure if all of you are aware. Netflix in its nascent days, in its earlier days, was a company which provided DVD as a rental service. DVD is basically ghar ghar. And then they started live streaming and not live streaming, online streaming. They further evolved and started creating their own content. So they are changing the way they operate. This is a classic example of business transformation. Business transformation might need certain portion of automation or digital transformation to be carried out. This is the difference between digital transformation and business transformation. Business transformation means you change the way you connect with your customers. You change the way you operate. For example, you had 15 gym, those gym shops or gym, what do you call it, gym in different cities. All of a sudden, due to Corona, you started online gym classes from all those 15 centers. You created certain sections for people who wanted a certain exercise, another set of people are asking for different set of exercises. You create those groups, you started online class. You change the way you operated. That is what is business transformation. From your grocery shop to online shopping, you change the way you operated. That is business transformation. Automating certain sections of your business is digital transformation. And strategic transformation is changing the very essence of the company, which is Apple is a classic example. Apple was at the verge of extinction in late 90s. That's where Steve Jobs decided that we'll make cool, beautiful products for our customers. That was the strategy. And that's where they invested time and energy, and they came out with iPod in 2007 or 1997. So that's what is a strategic transformation. You are a, let's say, university. MET is a university, and MET is an organization thinks of investing in startups. So that's a strategic transformation. That though they are a university, they as an organization have decided that we'll now invest in startups as well. So that's a strategic transformation for them. And cultural transformation is changing your resources skill set, changing their mindset, changing the way they think and they operate is cultural transformation. So these are the 4 types of transformation which are being carried out across the globe. I'll take a pause, wait for your comments. We have already covered this. Yeah, and then we'll be looking at examples. Yeah. So comments, questions, reactions.
Hi, this is Rakesh.
Hi, Rakesh.
Yeah, is it safer to say that digital transformation is a transition wherein organization are utilizing the existing technology or the new technology invented into the market to provide better customer experience?
Absolutely, Rajesh. You are right. When you say, you can say digital transformation is a transition. So, digital transformation, you'll have to complete that for me. Digital transformation is transition to from manual processes to automated processes. That's what digital transformation is. And business transformation, as you rightly pointed out, leveraging technology to provide better customer service or provide better service to the customers.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
in order to, now, if you set up a goal that, boss, let's say my CSAT score is 35% and I want to take it to 70%, then
Okay.
all of us on this call know that you cannot lead a project which will double your score. What you'll have to do, you'll have to do multiple changes within that organization. You'll have
Yes.
to set up new teams, you'll have to
Mhm.
leverage technology, you'll have to burst the silos, you'll have to build a unified team working for that mission. So you'll do a lot of stuff, and that's what business transformation is.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
leveraging technology is just one part of it.
Thank
Okay.
you, Ritesh. Thank you,
Thanks,
Ritesh.
Rajesh. Yeah. Shikha.
Yeah, hi Pritesh.
Hi, Shikha. So, any comments on types of business transformation, and how is digital transformation different from business transformation?
Yeah, I got it about the business transformation and digital transformation, how it's different. Like, Rajesh just said about the business transformation is complete change, like leveraging, providing the better customer service in changing the entire business process. Like you gave an example of, online shopping versus, face-to-face shopping. And also in digital transformation we are just automate making few things in our business to provide better service.
Yeah. Yogesh.
Uh, yes, I have clearly understand the difference between the business transformation and digital transformation. So I don't think the one thing which I didn't understand, that if you can give an example of that, is the cultural the one thing, the culture
Cultural
transformation.
transformation. Good.
Yeah.
Thanks, Yogesh, for asking. Okay.
I just want to add on that. You can take an example of Yogesh from FIS itself. So, company came up with a tool called VLearn. You can go ahead and enroll yourself and evolve your uh, like skill set using that tool. And company keep on pushing for these trainings which are coming in, and they try to enhance the skill set of their people. That is what cultural transformation what I understood. You can add, Pritesh.
Sure, Somvir. I see Varun has raised his hand. Hi, Varun. Yeah, please. Varun, do you have a question for us?
And Pamposh, you can correct me if I'm wrong. We should
No, no, I
consider
think
cultural transformation is also when we have started focusing on onto the glint scores, or how people think about what we are doing, whether that is right or wrong, or the kind of change which we have seen in last 1 year from the leadership team. They have started coming up with the open houses wherein you can join in this kind of the ecosystem they are trying to create, wherein they are trying to answer all the question, not from their direct team managers, but from the highest leadership. So this kind of transformation is also, I believe, comes under cultural only.
Yes, yes. So I think cultural transformation is when, and it can apply to business, non-business, even in your personal relationship, right? A transformation wherein you change your belief, right? So, for example, a business operates to earn profit, right? A business says, okay, I will operate only when I can do a business at 30% profit, right? That is one uh, belief that they have. That is one objective that they have. But now all of a sudden they change that from okay, I'm not bothered about 30% profits. I'm only bothered about ki when a customer calls, he should not call me in next 90 days because he's satisfied customer now. So my CSAT should go up, my first call resolution should go down. That is a cultural transformation that now I don't believe that I need to staff and I have to strategize to earn profit, but I have to basically my belief is that my customer should be happy. That is one example of cultural transformation. Second could be as a person, it need not be a business or an organization. It can apply to as an individual also. That if I need to transform from a person who basically is focused on earning more money to a person who's focused on his own health, right? That is a belief change. That's a cultural transformation you want to go through, because what you need to do to achieve one versus other are totally different, right? Your actions are different, your investments are different. So that becomes one example of cultural transformation, in my opinion.
Thanks, Pampus. Thank you. Thanks, Yogesh, for asking that interesting question that you want to understand more on cultural transformation. Thank you, Somveer, for sharing your views. So you both of you are correct in saying that cultural transformation is changing the way you think, uh, trying to alter your belief system. uh, Somveer, you also said it's about enabling your resources by improving their skill sets. And yes, you are correct. So digital cultural transformation primarily involves two key tracks. A, enabling your resources by improving their skill set. Imagine a resource who is not trained on lean and Six Sigma concepts. He will never be able to come up with bright suggestions versus a person who is trained on lean and Six Sigma concepts. He will know that in Six Sigma we have to reduce variation, and in lean we have to reduce waste. He'll understand what type of waste sit in our system, exist in our system. And after going through that training, he'll come up with suggestions to improve that system. The second track, and then so in most of the organization these days, we have four pillars wherein we train our resources. It's around lean to start off with. The very first step is lean. The second step, and it's a progression. Its second step is Six Sigma. The third is you train your people on digital skills, and fourth is you train them on data literacy. People should be understanding what is data, what are the how data is being generated, how data analysis is being done. And I recall somewhere you talking about the amount of data we generate, and all of us are aware the kind of data we generate in 2 to 3 years now was not generated in 100 years. In past 100 years, we did not generate data that we generate in last 2 to 3 years, and it's going on. So the amount of data we are generating, uh, we have to be capable to analyze it, draw insights, act on it, and so forth. And we cannot only depend on data scientists, and hence every individual going forward has to be a little bit literate about data. So these are four pillars wherein organizations are upskilling their resources: lean, Six Sigma, digital, and finally data literacy. So that's one major track around around cultural transformation. The second track, equally and more important, is organizational structure. The way our organizations are structured. Do we have multiple silos? Do we have all departments working with for one mission? Uh, Now imagine a large organization like FIS, HCL, Genpact, TCS, Infosys. And imagine a company like Uber or Flipkart, or for that matter Amazon. Which of these companies do you think are more aligned to one focused goal? Of course, all of these startups. They are more focused. Why? Because they do not have multiple silos. Every individual, every department is just working for one: improve customer satisfaction and make more sales. And hence, busting silos, making organizational mission more aligned to each individual, empowering your not only your leaders, empowering your individuals, your resources. So all of this falls into category of cultural transformation. And when and I also recall Pampers sharing that organize transformation has always been around. Absolutely correct. I recall in my RTA days, when I was an RTA part of WFM, we used to come up with suggestions. Ki boss, do this and you will be able to improve your AHT. We used to come up with analysis. We used to come up with Pareto. We used to make Pareto chart that these are your 20 resources, focus on them. The moment you focus on them, your overall score will change by X percentage. The only difference with those improvement suggestions and improvements that has been around for centuries is now that we have technology supporting our initiatives, and hence the speed to outcome, जिस speed से काम होता है और जितना change आता है, the impact is huge. That is the difference with transformation and whatever projects, initiatives, improvements that we have been doing. Coming back to cultural transformation, so I've covered two major tracks: resource को improve करो, resource के skill set को, and उस पे double click 4 things: Lean, Six Sigma, digital, data literacy, and change the way leaders behave, change the way our organization structure is around. Take a pause. And then I'm sure all of you have heard of these excellent examples: Netflix, Domino's, Microsoft, Adobe, McDonald's, Walmart, Nike. And all of them have been doing excellent, have been evolving, because they have adopted business transformation as a strategy. They know it's important to adopt digital transformation. However, more than these, I would like to drill down on certain examples. Somvir talked about, you took the example of Nokia, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So Nokia, the most successful company in mobile technology, and however mobile phones. However, they chose to ignore. Smartphones until 2007, when iPhone was launched. In 2008, they decided, okay, we'll also make smartphones, but by that time it was too late. Another few major examples, I'm sure all of you must have heard.
Kodak was the another one.
Kodak, correct, absolutely. I was coming to it. Right, Somir, go ahead, talk about it.
Yeah, so they did not really even foresee that what is coming up in future, and they started and investing and keep on investing on the old technology. They did not even think of that people are not going to keep on using your cameras or reels. They just started keeping on fueling up the same technology. That did not really help them to just overcome, and the kind of state they are in right now, they are just vanished.
Correct. And here is an interesting part to this same story, Sombi, that you shared. In Kodak, there was an engineer called Steve Sasson. He was the first guy who invented digital photography. He was
Right.
the one. However, he was asked, or the leadership chose to park it and keep it under blankets, because they feared that this invention would lead to disruption of their existing business.
Yes.
That's what
They
Mhm. Go ahead.
feared that it will hamper their current business or revenues, and it should not happen. That's why they did not go for it. But disruption is one thing. If you are in today's world, if you are not disrupting in terms of with the new technology or with new ideas or the new concepts, then you are out of the game.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's exactly what happened with Kodak. And just one more statement, that customers nowadays want everything for free, and they wanted it yesterday, delivered yesterday. So sab kuch as cheap as free they want, and as early as yesterday is what when they wanted. And hence, imagine, without technology you will not be able to stand up to their expectations. Take a pause. So we have covered why is it important to be part of the digital wave. We have also covered what is digital transformation, how is it different from business transformation, what are the types of business transformation, and few classic successful and few classic failures. There are more failures that you should read about, and reading about failures teach you a lot rather than reading about successful examples. Read Nokia example, read about Kodak, read about Xerox, read about Yahoo, BlackBerry, read about them whenever you make time. And then coming to reactions from people, Krishan, any comments? Krishan Ghai?
Yeah, no, thank you. No, thank you.
Krishan, I would want a little more than no, thank you, brother. So what do you think? What do you know? What is the difference between business transformation and digital transformation?
Actually, I joined the late this session because I seen the message late. So I joined at 3:41
Okay, no worries.
when you
So
you you were when you were discussing the culture transformation.
okay, got it. So you will get the recording of this session, everyone. I saw some
Okay.
of you joining late, so share recording of this session and you can go through it. Uh, okay,
Who is lazy crazy?
yeah, interesting name, lazy crazy.
It's Praveen Kumar, I think, from Aman's team.
Praveen, you there, my friend? Okay. Uh, I think he's out. He has blocked his calendar for lunch, 3 to 4. Okay. So moving on to next section, everyone. So and the most important part, that how can we as individuals make a career in digital transformation. Uh, so before I actually open the slide, so the quick comment is each one of you can make a career in digital transformation, each one of you, and not necessarily digital transformation team. Each of you can adopt digital technologies in whatever way, in whatever part, and whatever part of the overall organization you are in, leveraging the technology to provide the service whatever you are, uh, in drastically faster speed, and with hell lot accurate, is what business transformation and digital transformation is all about, is what we've understood. And all of you can be a digital transformation resource by adopting these frameworks, by adopting the technology, by adopting the way to operate, uh, adopting the way to operate, how a digital transformation resource would be. That's first. And if any of you are interested in joining digital transformation as a career point, and I'll share a few more examples as well. So at this point in time, I'm not sure if all of you are aware or not, but there is a dearth of resources, actual dearth of resources. uh, The team I was part of digital transformation in Genpact, there are around 40 plus vacant positions. I got to know yesterday night. I had a word with one of the resource there. So 40 plus open positions. Companies like TCS, Infosys, they are hiring thousands of people in digital transformation domain. HCL has some. I got to know that even FIS had some 3 to 5 openings in digital transformation. And an excellent way to get into digital transformation would be adopting the ways of digital transformation in whatever you do. Learning what all is being done, and I'm working with the people on this call who basically have who have started Grand Spirit as a initiative to help people, working with them to create a full blown course as well. So now starting off with how you can make a career. So I have put it in 5 key blocks. So first you have to understand the concept, and then you have to understand the technologies. And when I say technologies, you need not understand. All you need to do is understand the technologies and what they can do for us. You need not write a single line of code and yet be very successful in digital transformation team. In fact, every digital transformation team, they have 2 sections. One, a team of business analysts who basically go ahead and perform end to end their own project management of these projects that come out of digital transformation, business transformation initiatives. They are project managers, they are business analysts, and they are well aware of what technology can do for them. For example, when you go to a let's say a tire manufacturing company comes to you and they said, boss, I want to transform my business. So you will form a group and reach out to them. You'll understand their process. So at this group of people who will be part of digital transformation and business transformation team, they will be aware of robots. They know that bots can actually manually, whatever is being done manually will be replicated by bots. They know about sensors as technology. They know that sensors as a technology exist, which can beep whenever temperatures goes from a certain point higher. They are aware of IoT, Internet of Things, as a technology, that there can be multiple devices which can be connected together. So all they know कि boss इस technology से ये होता है, वो कैसे होगा? You have a separate team in each of the organizations doing this. You need not be creating a bot. You need not be creating sensing technology. All of these technologies already exist. What you need to know कि ये टेक्नोलॉजी से होता क्या है, इस टेक्नोलॉजी का यूज होता कहाँ पे है. That's what you need to know. Simple. So smartphones, what all technologies do they use? What is AI and what it can do for us? How it will be done is the responsibility of another team. There are developers who will develop your product. You need to tell them, boss, I have seen a problem. So I'll give you a classic example that we did at Genpact. There was a machine which was as big as this room, and training was being done. So we used a mix of AR, VR, which is your augmented reality and virtual reality, a mix of it to create course for our client. So all we knew कि boss ऐसी technology exist करती है. And then we told them कि boss ये ऐसा हो सकता है. And then we consulted with our developers and they did it for us. So we, as resources of digital transformation team, should be aware of what all technologies exist and what wonders they can do for us. And more important, if I combine these 5 technologies, in this process, I have the option of workflow, few bots, maybe chatbots, and an AI model as well, which can, looking at the data, which can create trigger emails. So the AI will deploy an AI model which will go through data. The moment it sees, let's say, for example, I'll take a relevant example. The moment it sees 30 resources without call, it will send an trigger email. Example, just sharing a hypothetical example. Uh, an AI model which can automatically predict the number of people, the number of calls, which humanly it won't be possible every nuances to capture. And hence, what you need to
I think we lost Ritesh. We lost Ritesh. Just give him a minute.
So while Ritesh comes in, Pamposh, I just want to understand that we have a new term in the market which is very
Mhm,
hyped, agile.
mhm.
So everybody is talking about agile.
Yeah,
Is it also part of the transformation only?
it
The
is one of
way
the
we work?
yeah yeah. It is one of the tools. It is the one of the tools because in order to achieve any objective, you might use multiple tools, right? Now,
Yep.
which tool is relevant becomes
Hmm.
very important. And secondly, we used to run a project start to end, and we used to deploy all our resources, investments, start to end. But now things have changed. Now we say, okay, we'll break it into pieces and we'll see outcome at each toll gate, and then we'll course correct. So Ritesh is joined back again. Ritesh, this is a good
yeah,
question. How does agile fit
yeah,
into the
I got
overall
your
scheme of
question.
things?
Correct. So Sombir, thanks for the question. So, Agile is a project management methodology. Agile is the way you operate as an organization, as a team, as Pampos rightly pointed out. So basically, what used to happen, you used to make a full-blown 6 months ka plan banaya, okay? And then you have toll gate after first 2 months. You'll create
Right.
you'll create a complete let's say 50% of product, and then you'll show it to your customer and then take feedback. Now, the way we lived in a fast paced environment, requirements keep on changing every week, correct? And hence this new methodology has come into place, wherein you have these short sprints. The actual term is sprints. आप गए, आपने 2 दिन काम किया, एक छोटा प्रोटोटाइप बनाया, दिखाया, साइन ऑफ लिया, आगे बढ़े. So you have these small sprints that you do. So it's a new way of operating.
Right.
And where does it fit in into transformation? So let's say you are, now that you have done a assessment in any given process, and then you realize uh, that an automation can be done here, or large scale full blown ERP deployment can be done. पूरा का पूरा एक system लगा सकते हैं जिससे almost 80% of the work will be automated. You have that's what you have thought of. Now, while you'll be doing this implementation or building the automation model, what you'll be doing, you'll be building small pieces of it and showing it to the customer, taking the feedback, showing how it works. As Pampers rightly pointed out, breaking the overall project into small
Small
bites,
pieces.
taking
Yep.
approval in each of them, learning from what went wrong in the previous sprints, and inculcating those learnings in the next sprints is what agile is all about. So the agile, to answer, is a methodology.
Because we have heard a lot about agile, and everybody is talking about agile being
Yeah.
agile. So I
So
thought we
agile
should,
is an English word. अगर
everybody should
agile
know.
का,
Yeah.
हाँ, so agile का अगर मैं हिंदी बोलूँ तो agile का मतलब क्या? Flexible.
Yeah.
So being
Flexible.
agile as an organization, being agile as a resource, being agile as as a process, is all about making changes every now and then, depending on what the requirement is.
So the
पहले क्या होता
classic
था इन
example I'll give you, Somveer, is on 15th of the day, connecting it to the call center. Your requirement to meet service level, if you're losing your service level, let's say for the month, On a 15th day, depending on the volumes and everything, now you need to achieve 85% for rest of the days, right? That is the
Right.
requirement on
Right.
15th day. Now, whatever happens between 15th to 20th day or 20th day, when you look at the requirement, it has now gone up to 90%, right?
Right.
And maybe on the final day, last day, basis the changes and everything that happens, your requirement now has gone to 100%. So agile is basically from the start point, because the projects are normally big. From the start point, your objective, the end customer objective, basis which he will be satisfied, would have changed from point A to point B. If we use the conventional method, you will stay to that project. By the time you get to know that change, you will have to reinvest and invest more, and the customer will end up being unhappy. And by the time you deliver the project, it will be late, right? By
Right.
agile, you keep on course correcting, and the key principle of agile is you will do the same thing without asking more money from the
Right.
customer. That's how
Right.
you'll segment yourself. That's how you'll set up yourself. That the project cost will not go up, but if there is a change in requirement of the customer, it will be taken care of
In the small pieces. Yeah.
in the small pieces.
Got it.
Thanks, Pankaj. So coming back to how do you prepare yourself for digital transformation if you want to join digital transformation team, or so how do you adopt it? So basically, you understand the concept, and then you understand the technologies and wonder it can do for you. And then you learn Lean and Six Sigma. You get yourself trained on Lean and Six Sigma from an institute or within your organization. And then and after these three, you understand the transformation framework and concepts, and then you prepare for the role. I'll open this Excel which I have prepared. So again, for all these 5 pointers, I have multiple subtopics. Yeah. I hope everyone can see my screen.
Yes.
Basic overview is what we covered in little time today. And then we have a lot of technologies. So why understanding technology is important and to what depth? And as I told you, only to the depth that you understand what it can do for you. That's it. So we have these many technologies which are very relevant for anyone, and all you need to know कि यार ये ड्रोन करता क्या, यार ड्रोन है क्या होता है ड्रोन से. So मुझे पता है कि यार ड्रोन कैन डिलीवर प्रोडक्ट्स. मेरे को कोई बंदा नहीं भेजना पड़ेगा. अगर मेरे को किसी प्लांट में, किसी फैक्ट्री में एक सामान से जिस दूसरी जगह भेजना है, तो मैं बंदे की जगह मैं बोलूंगा ड्रोन लेकर जाएगा. एक्यूरेट होएगा, जल्दी जाएगा, और रात के 12 बजे भी जाएगा, 3 बजे भी जाएगा. सो आई नो व्हाट ड्रोन कैन डू फॉर मी. आई नो व्हाट 3D प्रिंटिंग इज. मेरे को बनाना नहीं है 3D प्रिंटिंग. आई नो कि 3D प्रिंटिंग इज एडिटिव प्रिंटिंग. एक प्रिंटर होता है जहां पे कि आप आने वाले टाइम में अपने घर पे भी अपना जूता प्रिंट कर सकते हो. घर पे आप अपना प्लास्टिक का मग प्रिंट कर पाओगे आने वाले टाइम में. मुझे ये पता है. सो नोइंग दिस कि दिस टेक्नोलॉजी एग्जिस्ट, सो व्हेनेवर आई सी अ बिजनेस प्रॉब्लम, आई सीक सॉल्यूशंस फ्रॉम ऑल दिस टेक्नोलॉजीज कि यार ये टेक्नोलॉजी मेरे को ये प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करने में क्या हेल्प कर सकता है. ब्लॉकचेन मेरे लिए क्या कर सकता है. ये एनएलपी मेरे लिए क्या कर सकता है. ये क्लाउड टेक्नोलॉजी कुछ कर सकता है क्या. सो दीज आर द क्वेश्चंस we ask ourselves when we know about them. At the moment we get हाँ यार कुछ तो कर सकता है, I reach out to that particular team who are an expert and ask them कि बॉस बताओ, मुझे लगता है कुछ तो हो सकता है, करते हैं कुछ. And hence only this little knowledge is required, but this is a very interesting and very important part. You need to know little about each of these technologies, that what these technologies can do for you. And then you have to be Six Sigma and Lean trained, not necessarily certified. ट्रेनिंग भी कर लो दिन की, बट कॉन्सेप्ट बहुत अच्छे से पता होने चाहिए कि यार ये होता क्या है, लीन क्या है, सिक्स सिग्मा क्या है, क्यों एग्जिस्ट करता है, कैसे होता है, ये पता होना चाहिए. कॉन्सेप्ट क्लियर होने चाहिए so that you can apply them. because ये सिर्फ सीखने के लिए नहीं कि रिज्यूम में कि सिक्स सिग्मा सर्टिफाइड, सिक्स सिग्मा ट्रेंड, वो नहीं. यहाँ पे आप डेली यूज करते हो सिक्स सिग्मा का, लीन के कॉन्सेप्ट्स का. प्रोजेक्ट खुद नहीं करते हो, प्रोजेक्ट आपके लिए पूरा ऑपरेशंस कर रहा होता है, बट यू आर द एक्सपर्ट. यू गाइड देम, you help them choose the right projects. And then finally digital transformation. How is the team structure across organization, what are the process evaluation के framework क्या होते हैं, कैसे reimagine करते हैं new model, variation analysis क्या होता है. I'm sure all of you have heard about RPA. So what is RPA, where it can be implemented, what is the RPA playbook, right from opportunity identification to RPA deployment. What is that entire journey? How is it being carried out? RPA versus QPA क्या होता है? ये QPA term क्या है? Digital tools कौन से available है market में? And then few case studies, and then we'll read white papers, and then डिजिटल ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन की केपीआई, जैसे डब्ल्यूएफएम के भी कुछ केपीआईज होते हैं, एडहेरेंस क्या है, स्केड्यूल एडहेरेंस क्या है, फोरकास्ट एक्यूरेसी क्या है. So every team has certain KPIs. So what are the KPIs for digital transformation team, and what are the major challenges being faced by this team? This is what we'll cover in digital transformation. And finally, we'll write a
So,
resume and prepare for the interview.
Ritesh, one question.
Ashish, yeah.
So Ritesh, are there any other barriers that usually block the path of transformation? I know one is any organization's infrastructure in IT. It can block the path. So
You're
are
right,
there any
Ashish.
other challenges also?
Yeah, the major challenge and the most challenging piece is people and their attitude towards the transformation. That's the major hurdle, my friend. Because
So employee
for
pushback.
every other
Okay.
solution, Ashish, you have a solution in place that do leverage through technology. So cultural transformation is the key. That's the most challenging part.
Just to add, Ashish, Pampos talked about it initially when we started, that people have a tendency to think that automation or transformation will lead to job losses, rather than think from the other side. If people would start thinking that we will lose our job because of the transformation, they will start just giving up. They would not really uh, like do the job what is required. That is why cultural transformation is little required here.
Right. So I get it. It's basically employee pushback owing to the fear of the changing or evolving technology and all.
And
Okay.
that is why the cultural transformation is much needed nowadays.
Sure. Thank you, Sandeep. Thank you, Ritesh.
And India has now evolved a lot from that perspective. Especially in last 7 years, you see the banking has actually evolved from the transformation perspective. But initially, when our banking platforms were at a very old platform, basically, your branches were not connected, right? If you could do transaction at one branch, you still had to go to the same branch. They were not centralized, right? Banks were not centralized. There was still a lot of records which were based out of paper, right? So because of that, what happened was, way those systems were set up, way those databases were set up, they were not conducive to adapt to the new technology. So they had to go through the platform change. Now, what happens in that case is, because you're dealing with the financials of the customer, you're dealing with the monetary side of the people. Your risk of losing that is much higher. So, for example, you have a record of so many multi-million of customers, right? And while transforming, you should not do something which will make you lose a record of a customer, right? Then there's no way to track it back or trace it back. So that's what basically will slow you down when there's a risk factor of losing something very precious within an organization, or it could be a compliance, or it could be regulatory. So that could probably be a showstopper or a roadblock for a digital transformation primarily. But you will see any consumer goods company which is into retail, which is into sales of consumer goods, they go through digital transformation much quicker, right? Because for them it's manufacturing and selling it to the customer. Customer need changes, it's all about reaching to the customer much quicker, reaching to the customer in a better way, and making it of more quality than where it is today. So it's much easier for a consumer company or a consumer goods company than the banking, the traditional banking company, wherein
Uh,
you will see this transformation happening slower.
Yeah, and one classic example of that Pamposh, is the ITR portal, which has
Yeah,
been yes. So they had some different goal at the end of the day to which they wanted to achieve, but from last couple of months they are not able to achieve that goal which they wanted
right,
initially. It's not
right,
that smooth what they were expecting from Infosys. Now they are penalizing them for that. So that is another
right.
classic example of this transformation fails sometimes.
True. No, no, absolutely, absolutely.
Thanks, Pampos for addressing. I would just like to add one more aspect to it. So you're absolutely right. Whatever reasons you pointed out, the only reason that I can add, and a very important basis my experience that I've actually seen in the last couple of years, leaders who want these transformations in to be carried out, they fail to basically share their mission with resources on the ground. That's one of the key reasons. People who are at team leader at manager level, they're not aware of that mission. Why is it being carried out? Why is missing, and hence they do not align themselves and their efforts well with that mission. And that's where the disconnect is. So leaders need to do a better job at driving whatever strategy they have in place, whatever initiative they have taken and they've invested in, has to be aligned very well with actual resources on ground. That's the missing link that I see, at least basis my experience in the last couple of years. Okay, time for questions. Any more questions, anyone? Feel free to ask. ये वो जो भी
So
पूछना है बिंदास ask.
Ritesh, thank you so very much for organizing this wonderful session. Uh, but definitely, all of us would really love to continue with this kind of session. I know you are a busy man and you don't have that much of time, but we would really learn a lot in these sessions. So I myself has learned a lot today, and I would really love to hear more from you on this topic, because this is one topic which is never ending. You can just keep on talking on this topic for hours, and you will learn something new out of it every time. So thank you so very much, Pamposh and Ritesh, for organizing this.
Yeah. So what I did was I requested Ritesh to basically create a curriculum on digital transformation. What he touched upon today was the basics and the overview, and it was just a very 20,000 feet overview that he's given us. But we can look at sessions wherein he can dive a little deeper into the technologies, the methodologies, the concepts, and people who are interested can invest some of their time and basically go through those sessions also. It will be a continuous affair, as Ritesh rightly said, because this initiative is more of a training and development for people within WFM domain. How can we help people within WFM domain, or even people who are not part of WFM domain but are keen to basically learn about workforce management, learn about the technologies associated with workforce management, learn about how does it how does WFM transform into business transformation and lean transformation, because we do it day in day out in some ways and forms, right, without even knowing it. Similarly, Six Sigma DMAC is something that we do today in our day-to-day life, but we are not even aware that this is a DMAC that we are doing, right? You identify, how to solve a problem, right? So we do it. So, but just to put a structure to it, just to put a very academic format to it, will help us to understand it better. So yes, so we'll conduct more sessions from this perspective.
Thanks, Somvir. Thank you. You're right in saying, thanks, Pampush. You're right in saying, Somvir, that it was very difficult to, think of what to talk in hours time, and what to skip. So it was not easy to basically come up with what it's actually talking about in the first 1 hour session, because it's a topic that I can talk at least for hours, and then you can keep on listening. And I thank everyone for your time on a Sunday afternoon. I see we started off with around 18 resources, 18 on call, and only one has dropped, and we said it'll be for 1 hour, and all of you stayed. Thank you so much. for tuning in. It was lovely talking to you, and thank you for for participating. That's what I expected, and it was encouraging to see all of you participating and me talking, doing a lot of. So thanks everyone. Huge thanks. And yeah, Ampush has requested me to develop a course. It is not easy, but I promised Ampush that I'll be spending some time over weekends to stitch a course together on the topics that I presented, this Excel sheet that I presented. So I'll work on that, and as and when is it ready, it's ready. Will be reaching out to you. In the interim, if you have any questions, most of you have my number. I'm sharing my number as well. You have my email address. You can connect with me over LinkedIn. We can chat. You can send me a text and I'll call you back. That's how I would prefer it. Just send me a text message saying that you want to talk and I'll call you back.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ritesh, and we would love to be part of this journey. And just send us whatever we can support you to develop this curriculum or to help you out with our common goal, which is we just want to enhance our knowledge with your help.
All right.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Have a good time.
Great, thanks
Bye.
everyone.
Thank you, Ritesh. Thank you, Kampush.
Thank
Thank you, Ritesh.
you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Kamposh.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye. Rohit Rahul, you have been silent throughout, my friend. So next session, there will be a lot of comments that I will get from you.
Your voice is breaking. Either my system has some issues or
No,
network
I also am
issues are
facing
there.
the issue. I am also not able to hear properly.
Yeah, I think it's
Sorry.
Ritesh's
Is it
system
better?
which
Is it
is
better now?
fluctuating.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It
Yes, it
is. It
is.
is.
तो रोहित मैं बोल रहा था यार इस सेशन में ना
And Ayan, you can stop the recording.
Oh yeah. No, he'll edit it later.
Okay.
Rohit,
We have editor in the town.